Hello, in this video, I'm going to share the basics with you about what a protein is. Protein is central to the growth and functioning of living organisms. Proteins can make up the structures of the body, so sort of like the hardware, and there are also functional proteins that provide important functions, kind of like software that makes things run. So, like certain hormones are made from proteins, enzymes, hemoglobin, and so on. So they are critical to the growth and functioning of our bodies because we can't grow more tissue and grow bigger, grow more muscles, and so on if we don't have the protein that we need, the building blocks that we need to make up those structures. Proteins in general are very large molecules, very large chemical compounds. They are made up by sequences of amino acids. Those are the building blocks of protein. So we have sequences of amino acids that are connected by peptide bonds. So it is not considered a protein until we have at least 50 amino acids in sequence, and that would be the tiniest possible protein. And proteins can be hundreds of amino acids long. So proteins can be really colossally gigantic with hundreds of amino acids all bonded together to form a single protein. There are tens of thousands of completely unique proteins that have been discovered in the human body and counting. They discover new ones all the time that have different functions. So, depending on which amino acids are strung together and in what arrangement and how many, we can have infinitely many different types of unique proteins because they can be longer. They can just get longer and longer and longer, and they can be arranged in any different order. And so then we get all of these totally different proteins with different sort of properties and functions and structures that they can make. And so we have many, many, many different types of protein, all made from these fundamental amino acids that we build all of these different proteins with. We can get protein from plant and animal sources, and I'm going to discuss complementary, complete, and incomplete proteins in a future video. Now, one thing I always like to point out when I discuss protein is that excess protein, if we're consuming protein in excess of what the body actually needs for its growth and functioning, then we will convert that excess into glucose if we need to. So our blood sugar will increase from it. And if we have enough blood glucose and stored form of glucose, then we will also convert the excess into fatty acids that are stored in our fat tissue. So when somebody is setting out to lose weight or build muscle and they're increasing their protein intake, to some extent, that's great because we do need enough protein to be able to support that activity and to be able to support those goals. But just be aware that it's not more is better, that there is a limit. And when we exceed that limit, when we're having more protein than what we actually need to meet those goals and to meet the needs of the body, then we just convert it into fat. So it's really working against us at that point. So just something to keep in mind that there's a limit to how much protein is actually useful in your body. And where that limit is will depend on your age, your gender, your activity level, the type of exercise that you engage in, and so on. So if you're doing a lot of heavy lifting and you're trying to build as much muscle tissue as you can, then your protein requirement is going to be higher than somebody who's primarily doing cardiovascular exercise or none at all, because it's not the protein that builds muscle. It's the exercise that builds the muscle. You just need enough protein in circulation so that when we respond to that exercise stimulus, that we have enough protein to build that new tissue. But protein without the stimulus isn't going to build anything. It's just going to be in excess, and you will store that excess as fat. All right. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great day.